This Week in Startups is brought to you by Squarespace. Start building your website today at squarespace.com. Enter offer code TWIST at checkout to get 10% off. Walker Corporate Law, a boutique law firm specializing in the representation of entrepreneurs. Visit them at walkercorporatelaw.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Startups. I'm your host, Jason Calacanis, and I am here with my partner in crime, Brian Alvey. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks. Excited.
Today on the program, you're going to meet very innovative new startups that you've never heard of before that have gone through the Launch Incubator. What's the Launch Incubator, you're asking? Well, it's a program we run here in San Francisco over 12 weeks. We have thousands of people apply a year, and 2 or 3 times a year, we have 7 companies, 8 companies come in. They do a 12-week program. In that program, they meet over 50 investors and pitch their idea to those investors in just 3 minutes. It's a short period of time.
It is.
But in those 3 minutes, it's kind of like the trailer of their startup. Then the investors give feedback, and hopefully they get some follow-up meetings, get some funding. Also in the incubator, we work on things like building a culture, building a team, growth techniques, content marketing, paid acquisition of customers, all these different things that you would need to learn in order to scale a startup. If you're interested in learning more about the Launch Incubator, just type Launch Incubator into the Google and click on the link, and you'll see the application deadlines. We wind up investing in those companies. So all 3 companies you'll meet today in this program are ones I've invested in. We're going to have the founders pitch their company just like they do in the incubator. We're going to talk to them a little bit about their startup and also talk about their experience in the incubator, what was good, what they learned, and how it went. So first up is David Bennahum. He is the founder of Ready. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jason.
So this is week 12 of the incubator as it is. Mm-hmm. And so 12 weeks of presenting. How many times have you presented your company now over these 12 weeks?
I think I presented it maybe 30 times over the 12 weeks.
Amazing. And you met approximately how many investors in this time?
I'd say we've met over 40 investors where we're having active, productive discussions.
Wow, amazing. All right, so we'll put 3 minutes on the clock, and you'll just give your presentation like you always do for Ready. 3, 2, go.
Ready is a cross-platform programming environment for personal robotics that makes robotics accessible to all of us. Over the next 3 years, 96% of all the robotic units that'll ship are going to go straight into people's homes. But programming these devices is really hard. With Ready, it's really easy. Think of Ready as an if this, then that for personal robotics. This is Ready. I'm going to add a drone and a Sphero to my scene. I'm going to give the drone a control behavior so we can fly it, and I'm going to give Sphero a movement behavior so it can respond. Let's press play and see how it all happens. The drone in our lab lifts off, and as you see, follows the movement of the drone on screen. Let's go ahead now and program Sphero to respond to the drone's position. We open the Ready programming area, and we can say, when Sphero is to the right of the drone, do Sphero move towards it, and now the inverse. When Sphero is to the left of the drone, do Sphero move away from it. It's that easy. With Ready, anybody can program. Let's take a look now at how our scene changed. The drone in our lab lifts off, crosses over to one side, and Sphero moves away. Crosses back, Sphero moves towards. Crosses over again, and Sphero moves away. We launched Ready in the fall of 2016 as the easiest way for non-coders to create software. We have over 45,000 registered users, growing at 20% a week compounding with no paid media, no social media gimmicks, with a median age of 18. It's from this cohort we got the question, hey, can we use Ready to program our robots? We took a look, and this is what we learned. The companies making these devices have a hard time with software. When they ship software, it's either so hard to use that few people can program and achieve anything, or so simplistic that what you achieve is really unrewarding. And either way, one company's Sphero can't go across platforms to talk to another company's Cosmo. With Ready in the middle, millions of people are unblocked to give these devices instructions, and yes, Cosmo can now talk across platforms to Sphero. We also really like this market for personal robotics. It's gone from nothing to $3 billion in 2014, or 15 rather, and will be at $14 billion by 2020. It's also adjacent to 2 very large attractive verticals, Internet of Things and Enterprise. As we get it right for all the non-coders in this middle vertical, all the millions more non-coders in Enterprise and Internet of Things will be unblocked from giving their devices instructions as well. Think of this as a beachhead strategy to get there. We make money by licensing the Ready OS to the personal robotics manufacturers. By penetrating only 5% of the market in the next 3 years, we can generate over $35 million of GMV. But that's just the start. The opportunity only gets bigger and bigger from here. The team is well qualified to seize on this opportunity with over 70 years collective experience building software. And this moment reminds us very much of the early days of the PC, hard to program, fragmented, things don't talk to each other. A small company founded in Albuquerque called Microsoft set out to solve those problems. Likewise, in 2017 with personal robotics, we see Ready playing a similar role. So we've set out to raise a bit of capital, now oversubscribed, thanks to Jason's incubator, to complete integration with the major robotics platforms and unblock robotics for millions of people around the world, and from there, have one OS to rule them all. Thanks for listening.
All right, well done. I'll give it a little golf clap.
Exactly, same here.
Thank you.
Pretty amazing. Brian, you saw Ready early on in the incubator. What do you think of week 12 performance versus week 1?
Oh, yeah. So in week 1, I'd say you were not ready. I gave you some savage, sort of vicious feedback, probably 8 or 10 things that I said, no, please don't say these things again. It was really cool because David kind of took them all in. He goes, you're going to love next week. Came back a couple weeks later, saw it again. Presentation way better. It made everything clear. The example is really hard because you have to quickly fly through in 3 minutes, which is really just 30 seconds for your product demo. Programming 2 robots to do stuff together to explain to the world very quickly that this is a language that ties together Legos and something else that don't talk to each other.
Right.
And he does it perfectly in this. It's such a good commercial. It explains it so well. And then there's a potential. Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Great. So the potential of this, there are 2 ways to kind of look at a startup. One is, what are all the obstacles? Can Jason and the incubator and investors and smart advisors help you blow through those obstacles, find the missing team members, get distribution or sales, things like that? What are all the obstacles and can we help them through? Or you can look at the flip side, which I think is where all the potential is here, which is that question of what if everything goes right?
Yeah.
What if they do unite 18 different giant hardware platforms that have sucky code themselves and don't speak to each other?
Yeah.
If that happens, oh my God, this is huge.
Right, and if you just think about how this pitch has progressed, it went from being, an educational startup for kids to program, to, oh my God, robots are going to have a massive presence in our lives. These things always start out as toys or very, very high-end, in factories, just like PCs were hobbyists, and people playing games and kids, or you had PCs in, very high-end locations.
It's arcane.
Yeah.
It's not accessible to the masses.
Correct. And now we can see this arc. It's pretty obvious that robots are here and we're going to be programming them. In fact, last week in the New York Times, there was Meet the People Who Are Programming the Robots as a feature story on Sunday, just this past week. So part of being in an incubator and creating a startup for founders who are watching is sometimes being too early and having to sell that vision and how you're going to get there, right? And it's pretty interesting, I think, David, one of the great things about your presentation, how the company has maturated over these 12 weeks is, hey, we have actually a path there, which is you have hobbyists, you have kids, you have people who are playing with these things. And it's pretty obvious that the robots are toys right now, but it's only a matter of time before we have robots that are doing chores around the house, gardening, cooking, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
How far are we off from that? How far do you think we are from having a general purpose robot that does things for us on a day-to-day basis in homes, as opposed to a Sphero that we play with? Is this a 20-year arc, a 10-year arc?
No, I think it's like 2 or 3. 2 or 3 before you see the first general purpose ones that are in the house. And when we say general purpose, it's not going to be the entire spectrum of what a human being can do, but it's going to be a subset of that. That's on the way. And you can even see it now with the devices that are cleaning our houses.
The Roomba.
The Roombas and all that are getting more and more powerful. But I think more importantly, they're also getting networked and they're becoming more like Internet of Things, and they can begin to take on a whole range of actions that relate to the other things going on with other robots in your house. So it's not so much about one specialized robot as it is about a network of devices that collectively get a job done in your house.
Context.
Yeah, that's
For us, we have a Kivo lock on a door, and we have a Nest for a thermostat, and the Kivo just one day started asking me, "Oh, you're home. Would you like to? Do you have a Nest that you'd like to connect to? So when you leave or you enter through your door, it will turn on or turn off your Nest," which is kind of interesting that you could program those together. And then eventually, we're going to have robots in our houses that will be doing things like cleaning dishes. I saw, what's the robot company that Google bought and then is selling now that makes the military robots? God, I forgot the name of it.
Was it the one where they're knocking them over with the broomstick?
Knocking them over with the broomsticks.
The dog.
Something
that runs around.
Dynamics. Something like that. Applied Dynamics.
They're in Massachusetts.
They're in Massachusetts. Anyway, they demoed in a video a robot loading the dishwasher.
Nice.
Which, you'd think would be an easy task, but it's a little bit complicated actually, because you have many different size things and you have to fit them, and it was actually working.
Yeah.
We're not far off from that.
The adoption cycle on this stuff is going to start with play and discovery as a motivation for the consumer. So there's a huge entertainment piece right now in the adoption, which is very normal with a lot of consumer-facing technology. As you alluded to earlier, the early days of the PC were very focused on playing video games, on exploring a new world, and then it crossed the chasm, became a business tool. Right. And we're seeing the same phenomenon with personal robotics, right? So it's going to show up initially as a playful and discovery experience, and then as you get skilled with it, it crosses the chasm, becomes more of a utility thing as well as it could always remain playful and discovery. I don't think that's going to go away.
A question for you now, stepping back from Ready, which people can go to ready.io and play with the company.
GetReady.io.
GetReady.io, sorry.
As it says here.
GetReady.io for people listening, and you can follow GetReady.io on the Twitter. Let's talk a little bit about the incubator. You're based in New York. There's some investors in New York, but you flew out 12 weeks. I think you came out 11 of the 12. You had one of your co-founders come out
Correct.
1 week. So this was a major commitment in two ways. One, there's an equity that we're buying. So you're giving up equity and we're going on the cap table. But assuming that seems like it was a good trade, the thing that is more even tougher to decide to do as a founder is to give up your time, to get on a flight. You made a massive sacrifice with a family and with your startup to come out every Friday, come out every Thursday, go back every Friday, or et cetera. Take me through how that played out in terms of meeting the investors here and the geographic difference between the internet market in New York versus the Bay Area.
Great question, Jason. And to be transparent, you had asked me in one way or another to potentially participate in the incubator for several years running. And when it happened again this January, a part of me just had this immediate reaction, like, this is Jason, a person I respect for a long time, has continued to say there's value in coming out. Maybe I should just shut up and listen to Jason, because he could be right. And that's actually turned out to be the case. So I had a very clear agenda in my mind, which is I wanted to put this company onto a path that looks more like a Valley-funded tech startup. And the reason why I think that's important is that the amount of innovation and the scale coming out of this community is obviously the greatest in the world. So as someone who's been in New York, building tech in New York, I don't really have ready access to that type of a network. And I thought, what better way to bootstrap into that network than to join the incubator, have, as we noted, over 40 investor meetings in 12 weeks, which is an astonishing amount, with highly qualified, by the way.
Yeah.
Not just anybody, but really top tier investors. And on the other side of that, achieve the outcome in a really short amount of time. We're talking about 90 days, or 120 days to put this company on that kind of path. So I flew 72,000 miles over, 120 days to be here, and it was 100% worthwhile because it is achieving the outcome I wanted. So really good exchange of value for sure.
It's been great to watch the company grow. You've got a lot of great investors now involved. So we'll look forward to big things. Anything you want to say in closing up here, Brian, with Ready?
It's funny, when I did the same thing in the first incubator, I was based in New York. I lived in New York. My family was in New York. And I actually cheated and got an apartment out here and stayed out here for 4 months. And the funny thing is, that's what broke them. The family was like, great, let's sell the house and move. So now we live here. So if you had done the opposite and maybe got an apartment, you might be living here soon. So we'll see which one of us did the right thing.
One of my concepts here is that you're going to see a lot of people start very innovative things. You can build anything, any prototype, anywhere. Right. So CafeX, Rapify, Stay Wonderful, Ready, a lot of these things were built outside of the Valley.
Right.
But to truly scale and to truly become meaningful, I think being part of this community is required. So CafeX moved from Hong Kong and put their HQ here in San Francisco. Other people like Rapify have a dual HQ structure. So, and then some people like Stay Wonderful stay in New York because they're in the hospitality and hotel thing. but they have investors here now, and they're plugged in. So
I love Jen.
So I think for you guys, if you can optimize sourcing the very best startups from around the globe and then put them on this path, which generates a huge return for you as the
hopefully,
right. I mean, that's sort of the equation here. It's a very attractive combination, I think.
Yeah. All right. When we get back, 2 more startups that went through the incubator doing very innovative things on This Week in Startups. Okay, hey, Squarespace is amazing. I saw Anthony last week when I was in New York, and Squarespace has a beautiful new headquarters. I'm going to do a book launch party there in July. Look for that. But we build websites all the time here at This Week in Startups, and for all of our podcasts, for all of our events. And when we need to pop up these event websites, I just go, hey guys, buy this domain, pop up the website. It's up in an hour or two. I'm sorry, it's up in 10 minutes, but it's designed and fully up with the writing and everything we need to have on it in the same day. To me, that's a revelation because the sites look so beautiful and it costs so little. The tools to build these websites are so easy and it's very intuitive. So when one team member learns how to do it, they literally just lean over and say, hey, click here and here's your login. And the other person's like, yeah, you don't need to tell me. It's obvious. That's how great website building has become thanks to Squarespace. It's the state-of-the-art technology. It's secure, it's stable, it's trusted by millions, including some of the most respected brands in the world, including Launch. They are amazing. I love Squarespace. You can start your free trial today. No credit card is required. That's how confident they are. And you'll get a free domain if you sign up for a year. If you decide to keep your Squarespace, use the offer code TWIST and get 10% off your first purchase. That's right. If you decide to use Squarespace beyond the trial, just use TWIST and you get 10% off your first purchase. You'll get that domain name free as well. It is a fantastic product. If you know anybody in your circle who has to build a website, instead of trying to do this all yourself, just point them to Squarespace and you will not be disappointed. Hey everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. I'm here with Brian Alvey.
Hey.
At Brian Alvey on the Twitter.
I am.
And you are a venture partner now with the Launch Fund.
That is correct.
That's fantastic. I'm super excited about this.
It is exciting.
You and I have worked together for decades.
Decades, yes.
Built a couple companies together.
Right.
And you're building a company. You went through the incubator. Tell everybody a little bit about your company.
So about my company, sure. It's Clipisode. It's a way to make videos with other people. So funny, I have so many other startups in my head. I have to think about my own now.
Yeah.
But it's two-way video. So a way to make sort of video talk shows with people. It's been tried 3 years ago. A lot of other companies tried to do this. We think we do a better job of it. We think we have some insights that they don't have. And the good news is investors and brands are super excited about it right now.
Great.
So,
and that's part of the process.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the investors excited, getting some brands excited, and then you'll get customers excited. And
correct.
You're about to learn a lot because you're going to put the product in market.
Exactly.
And our next company is also pre-product release. Mm-hmm. It's called Keepster, and Jennifer is the founder. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
So you joined the incubator pre-launch.
Correct.
The other 7 companies already had their products in market, so you were what we call our diamond in the rough, about to launch. And it's been 12 weeks. How was the program for you?
Outstanding.
Yeah, you had a good experience?
Absolutely fantastic. Yes. Grad school for startups.
That's a nice way to put it. We like to think of it like a grad school because it's so intense. And just the level of people coming to mentor and speak has been just really high this semester.
Unbelievable. Every single week. Walk away with something that you just never knew about. In fact, in my case, it was undergrad and grad school.
At once?
Yes, all in one. And it's just like, I could never be where I am today without it.
Oh, that's fantastic. So we'll do what we do every week, which is give you 3 minutes to explain your product. This is one of the hardest things. When you started, we gave you maybe 5 or 6 minutes in week 1.
Right.
And every week we got you to do a little bit less and to explain more.
Yes.
Very hard to learn.
That was the hardest part of the whole thing. Yes, cutting it down because there's so much that one wants to say about one's product.
Exactly. And saying it in 3 minutes is almost an eternity for the people who are listening.
Yes.
And it feels like, you need to add a 0 and do 30 minutes if you're the founder because you want to explain everything.
Yeah.
But what you learn is you're just giving them that trailer, enough to make them come see the movie, which in this analogy I like to say is if we show the trailer to an investor, the movie and buying the ticket is taking a meeting.
Right.
And that's the full hour experience. Okay, so we'll put 3 minutes on the clock and you'll explain to us what Keepster is. 3, 2, go.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, founder of Keepster, which allows you to make books and cards from your text messages. The texting has outpaced social media today, and our important conversations are in our text messages, not in our social profile. But till now, little has existed to curate and preserve these messages in a way that is meaningful. So we created a Keepster for all those people who want to preserve their most important messages, which is exactly why Stephen needed Keepster to make this book for Cara for their anniversary to celebrate the story of their love. Here's how it works. You install the app on your desktop, back up your messages, and then select the messages you wish to keep. You can also search by keyword and by date, place those messages into folders called Keepsters. This list of Keepsters is your personal archive. It is the hub of all your relationships and everything that matters to you. For important occasions or relationships, you can customize a book or make cards, and our printing service will ship them to you. Keepster is a new product in this exploding messaging market. We are closest to the $2 billion online photo print business, but where we are really special is that only Keepster can include your texts and your emojis. The others just do photos. We're also close to the $7 billion greeting card market and think our products will really be suited to millennials. But we know from testing, our first users are going to be the memory keepers. All those people who are willing to spend their time and their money to save and preserve their most important moments. Not every Keepster needs to be made into a printed product, so we'll have digital sharing, which will boost our viral distribution. And since we are pre-launch, we're going to test for frequency of usage, and from there, know best how to monetize. In building Keepster, though, we think we're sitting on something much bigger. Since we have figured out the only way to search across platforms and preserve messages in a way that is meaningful to each user, this is a powerful tool that can be developed further. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to introduce WeChat and Kakao, which will take our users up to 3.5 billion. And we also think that our products are really well suited to Asian gift-giving cultures. Also, we're going to introduce Keepster for mobile. So first, we're going to launch in the consumer space. From here, gather data to fuel AI smart search tools, which will reduce friction, and from there, move on to the bigger audience so that you can all get to Keepster, what matters most.
Okay, well done. A little golf clap there. So interestingly, when you came to the incubator, you were faced with the fact that the majority of investors in Silicon Valley happen to be male. And maybe the product is not designed for, men don't create scrapbooks in general, yes. And as a female skewing product. I think the statistics now are maybe 4% of investors in Silicon Valley are female. In our incubator, I think we got to probably 30% of the judges and the special guests were female. So we really, I think probably, and Emmy Award-winning producer Jackie's responsible for this, like maybe 5-6 times the industry average came to the incubator. So you did have a lot of women who were got to hear the pitch, who were investors, but it was mainly men still, even though we did a great job beating the percentages in the industry. How did you deal with that feedback of people who couldn't see themselves using the product itself?
Well, first of all, what I want to say is interesting is that at the launch, our booth was flooded with guys who wanted to do that.
Interesting.
Also, in our group, it's amazing how many guys have come up to me and say, I really want to do this. I want to make this for my girlfriend. I want to use this as my holiday card. So I got over looking towards women to have my idea validated. And I think that there's something also about this, is we don't realize how important our messages are till we've lost them.
Right.
And everybody has had that experience somewhere in their lives.
Right.
So I think that even though we've tested and we know, yes, women will do this, I'm not worried about how women have or haven't viewed this product, because I am obsessed with the importance of preserving our communication. What's life going to be like from 10 years from now when we don't have any important communications recorded?
Right.
So I'm on a bigger mission.
Right.
I don't care who likes me and who gives me the thumbs up. This has got to be done.
That's fascinating. See, I think that's the type of attitude that when you portray that attitude and you put that out in the world, like, hey, listen, the world changes very quickly. So while scrapbooking may have been something for grandmas or, moms at home, and scrapbooking was like a hobby for people who had babies and wanted to just memorialize them, this is actually a new market, which is people writing letters, people having their communications just disappear. When you first heard the idea, Brian, what were your thoughts when you in the first week of the incubator, then maybe coming to week 5 or 6, and then again now seeing Jennifer's performance in week 12?
So it's changed a lot. I'll give you my thoughts on that, the sort of arc of this. My first thought was, I write text messages every day that deserve to be printed, that should be kept forever. I'm friggin' hilarious. So I totally actually would love to see my
You
stuff
have some
preserved.
pretty funny ones.
I'm really good. And there's
many inappropriate ones in my box.
You can have like a label on the book, right?
Exactly.
Like a rating or
rating.
something like that. Yeah. So one, I actually think that's it's an interesting thing to do. I think one of the things I love about the incubator is you can have people in there who are new and people in there with more traction, right? So you had somebody in this class that had more than $4 million a year in revenue.
Amazing.
And you had Keepster. And I was that one in the first incubator where I had a product that was a napkin sketch.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't have a working product. We were built like week 3, I could start showing you some designs.
Right.
Week 5, like, oh, now we have a working product, right? So I've been there. So I love that there's sort of something for everyone and that everybody gets an MBA, no matter if you're, like you said, doing your undergraduate at the same time, right? So that I really love. But I've got to say, the thing that makes me, I think that made my confidence level rise in this from day 1 napkin sketch to week 12 is a lot of people, when you ask them about their product, they go, it's for everybody. And they go, no, but seriously, like, where are you going to start? You can't start with everybody. And people are like, no, it's an enterprise tool and it's for consumers, the whole spectrum. Like, who doesn't need my product? And that's a bad founder, right? That's actually a bad signal for a founder.
It's a bad go-to market strategy to say it's for everybody, because then how do you get the first 100 people
I'm
who
gonna
are
conquer every
super
city
passionate
all at once? So when Jennifer stands there and she goes, we've identified, we have a vision for this. I have a mission. I talked to you, I think, a year ago on the phone about this, right? So she's been working on this. She has a fire for this. She's going to get this done. But my confidence level goes up when I hear she says, but we're going to zero in on the memory keepers. We've identified a very specific type of user who does something like this. Right. You got to take Normandy before you take Paris, before you free everybody. Right. So it's that. I just had this conversation with somebody on the phone today. So it's really that. So in seeing somebody who understands, I'm not going to boil the ocean. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do this one thing. I'm going to do it really well. I'm going to get feedback. 2 years from now, who knows? Maybe enterprises are using this. Maybe there's a distribution deal here or something there, or other kinds of users, and we found, our higher calling. But right now, I'm going to be really smart about this. And I'm going to get people who I know will pay for this and use it and give me great feedback.
Yeah.
We call it land and expand in the industry, which is you land somewhere, you get a foothold, and then you can start expanding, because those people can become advocates for you, and those people will give you feedback. So have you started to get any early feedback from folks on what they think of the idea, in this sort of credible group?
Oh yeah, and it's been interesting, because in this environment, one is tempted to speak to the larger audience, but at the back of my mind, there are so many people who've come up to me and said, oh my God, my mom passed away. I really want this. In fact, one of my closest friends passed away, and all her sons wanted was a book of their messages. My first printer, the same thing. I told her, she went white. She said, my mom only reads her phone all the time to read her late brother's text messages. And today, actually, somebody came up to me. So I know that, particularly as really a memory keeper, people really love this product.
It's a really fascinating moment in time when, as we move into this digital age and somebody passes away in your life, which we all face this prospect, including ourselves, and you have to remove their phone number or speed dial. And I had this experience where somebody passed away and I had them on my favorites list. And it just was like a very deep moment. Like, do you take them off your favorite list, or do you keep seeing them in your phone book?
Right.
And I decided I want to keep seeing them.
Right.
I couldn't bring myself to delete them. Or
The Facebook birthdays. I'll get 7 Facebook birthday notifications on a day, and 2 of them aren't around anymore. I mean, that's
really. I thought they were supposed to.
They don't
stop
know
doing
that somebody has to go tell Facebook that they're gone now, but they don't. So then you run into this problem of if the person you don't know that well, you may go wish them happy birthday, and then their wife is like, "What are you talking about?" So anyway, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess, but it's something you do have to deal with.
It's a new normal. Is we're going to have to deal with what do we do with all these communication?
Right.
Where do they go?
Right. And especially now, because it's on so many different platforms, and it's where is this and where is this, and so and ultimately our bigger plan is also to do voicemails and videos, so that you won't feel like you've lost everything, because nobody's got photographs and boxes of letters anymore. I mean, everything is, our phones are our diaries. Our phones are.
I don't want to make the books right now. What I want is, I just want to know everything is safe. And encrypted and somewhere.
Right.
I just want that feature, and I'm absolutely going to pay for Keepster when it comes out. So people can see, if people want to sign up for the beta, they can go to Keepster.co.
.co.
You got the .co company.
Yes.
Keepster.co. All right, Jennifer. It was great having you in the incubator.
Thank you.
Great. It seems like it was a good learning experience for all of us.
Just can't rave about it enough.
Anything you advice you would give people thinking of applying right now, or thinking of coming if they've been accepted?
Be prepared to work really hard. And just be prepared to develop a really thick skin, and just keep your eye on what you believe in. I think that's it.
You got to be your own North Star here, because you're going to get a lot of feedback.
As in everything in life, this is the real acid test for that.
Be true to yourself.
Yes, and keep your ears open.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we'll be back with one more startup from the Launch Incubator. And let me take a moment to thank my friend Scott Ed Walker of the Walker Corporate Law Group. He is a great guy. He works with a lot of the startups I work with. And Walker Corporate Law is a boutique law firm, and they specialize in the representation of entrepreneurs and startups. They charge fixed fees. They love encouraging the fixed fees, so you don't get any of that billable sticker shock. And the way they believe, and the way Scott thinks about it, is that these billable hours, they reward inefficiency. He wants to get your work done. He wants to make it tight, make it right, and give you one fixed fee. All of their lawyers have 10 or 20 years of experience. There are no junior associates getting on-the-job training with your startup. So they do mergers and acquisitions, licensing agreements, terms of service, privacy policies. They'll form your company, they'll help you raise money, all that great stuff. If you want to talk to the founder, call Scott Ed Walker directly at 415-979-9998. That number again, 415-979-9998. And you can email him directly, Scott at Walker Corporate Law, Scott at walkercorporatelaw.com, or visit walkercorporatelaw.com. Thanks again, Scott. You've been a tireless supporter of This Week in Startups since the beginning. I think it's our longest running advertiser right now. Thanks for the support. Okay, everybody, welcome back to This Week in Startups. We're looking at some of the great companies and founders who attended the Launch Incubator in 2017. And you went through the program. How has the program, the Launch Incubator, evolved, Brian, over the last couple of years?
So 2 ways. Hundreds of ways, but 2 that I think stand out are, it's so funny to hear everybody complain about they only have 3 minutes this year to do their pitch, and we had I think we had 7 sometimes in the first one. We settled on 5, and so I've joked with them. The first time I went through, we had 5 minutes. The next time I went through, we had 4. This time they have 3, and then I said, next time you get 1 slide with 5 emoji, and that's all you have to tell your entire story.
5 emoji.
You have 1 sentence, 5 emoji, 1 slide.
Yeah, I was thinking people just come up, they say their company.
Right.
They say what they do and they drop the microphone.
That's it. We've talked about
Bounce it off the floor.
So then the real answer to the question is it's just gotten better. The support network, the talent that comes in, the level of questions. And then it's so weird. Once the school gets better, you realize like, oh my God, the students get better. It's kind of like when you and I watch high school kids.
Yep.
And they can do video stuff and all these computer VR things that we just never even dreamed. Like we were happy to copy and paste some text and do like a Word document kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
They can do crazy, real-time, amazing stuff. It's in 2 years, I've seen that kind of growth in the companies in the incubator. They are further along with money. They pitch better on day 1 than we did. So by the time they get to the end, it's just so much further along. It's amazing.
Okay, so next up is Genius Link. You know the rules. 3 minutes on the clock and present your company. This is actually one of the companies that had revenue coming into the incubator. It's one of the big trends. We're looking for companies that have some revenue and that have some product market fit. So in 3, 2, go.
Yeah, hello, thank you. My name is Jesse Lakes. I'm a co-founder here at GeniusLink. We're a profitable bootstrap startup focused on fixing broken links for some of the world's largest brands. Back in 2009, I literally wrote the book about the iTunes affiliate program. This book caught the attention of Apple, and after they threatened to sue me, they offered me a job as the global affiliate program manager for iTunes. While I was there, I helped expand iTunes into 28 new countries and saw a massive problem firsthand. iTunes product links were country-specific, and all too often, international shoppers just simply weren't not able to purchase. In the world of global e-commerce, a link needs to work for everyone. But for most of the world, these links were simply broken. So I envisioned a world where links were intelligent, guiding each shopper to the best product in store based off the location, device, language, and more. I believed in this, and I convinced 2 of my best friends to believe in it, 2 engineers from Microsoft and Apple. So they quit their cushy day job along with myself, and we went on to fix this problem. I'm very proud to say we've done it. Today, GeniusLink has nearly 1,000 subscription-based clients and over 5,000 active users with whom we earn via revenue share. Our clients come in all shapes and sizes and use our links in a variety of different ways. For example, affiliate marketers are able to boost their commissions and save time by using these geo-aware affiliate links. In fact, Amazon recommends our tool to many of their affiliate partners just so they can build a single link that works for all the different Amazon stores around the world. Musicians, authors, record labels, book publishers are able to build just a single link they can then share with the world and know their sales are going to be boosted and they're going to gain more insights into their fans. More recently, marketers have started using GeniusLink so they can capture the analytics, build retargeting pools, as well as set UTM tracking parameters on the traffic they generate to third-party websites. These intelligent links also allow them to get better insight into their audiences and campaigns, as well as better segment their audiences. And finally, most importantly, I think, is that iTunes is now starting to implement our technology directly into their tools. That helps boost sales and provide a better user experience. But getting here has not been easy. Initially, our revenue model was based solely off of earning an affiliate commission. That actually set us up for some major policy changes from iTunes and Amazon. So in 2015, we reinvented ourselves. We moved to a subscription basis. We rebranded and built out a suite of tools specifically for marketers. This realignment has really helped us grow over the last 18 months. We've seen our revenue grow 4x. We did over $1.3 million in 2016 alone. I'm happy to report that it was at a 16% net profit. Again, we are a profitable bootstrap startup. I love saying that. We want to continue to accelerate the growth of our service and apply that to something much bigger. We want to apply it to the hundreds of other retailers like iTunes and Amazon that have storefronts around the world, but have the same what we call geo-fragmentation challenge. We see this opportunity to be in the billions of dollars. So we've got the link technology, we've got the team, we're looking for some help to make things happen. So thank you. What can I answer for you?
Okay, well done. We'll do a little golf clap for that. So I really think that having a profitable startup is so rare that when investors saw you, they were stunned. How do you deal with the fact that you don't need the investors' money, but that you may in fact want to have some investors on board for the next level? What have you learned about that over your 12 weeks? Clearly there's a need for your product. Clearly you figured out a better business model going from sharing the affiliate links to having a SaaS model, software as a service, enterprise, charging people per month for your software. But talk a little bit about how investors look at this weird, rare, profitable startup.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. Just you're absolutely right that we definitely catch some of them off guard, and there was a lot of questions early on about 16% operating margin. No, it's a true profit margin. And after you start to have those conversations, once it starts to sink in a little bit, it was really interesting. They actually started to steer us away from raising venture capital. Right? If we've got the money, why don't we use our money first before we go ask for more money? And we kind of evolved that conversation further and further, and we realized in that the whole concept of quote unquote smart money, we were looking for the smart part, not the money part. So that's kind of led to this realization that these relationships are absolutely essential, and we're going to continue to foster that relationship. So when we're ready for that Series A, after we figured out a handful of different things, it's good to go. But until then, they're awesome resources, and they're more than happy to help connect us and help coach and mentor us. So it's been really kind of twofold for us, where the money will come when we're ready for it, but the smarts are coming right now.
Brian, when you see a company like this that doesn't need the money, but that's getting this massive mentorship and networking with the investors, what does that tell you about Silicon Valley and just sort of what Jesse's built?
So I like the way he phrased it. I like that he said, you look for smart money, and we're just looking for smart. I thought, one, I've told them this before, that if you lead with, profitable bootstrap startup, and then you say profitable 6, 8, 30, 40 times in your presentation, you can't say that too few times, right? Just keep hammering that one home. But then you do get that question. And I've asked you that question. Well, why are you even here? Why are you raising, why are you trying to raise money? But he's looking for those smart people. I think the thing that I am even more excited about this, because it can be very hard to say, you're attached to these big services, or are they going to, shake you up again, and is it going to mess you up? There's a lot of things you have to think about taking this thing to the promised land. But I think the thing that takes my confidence level through the roof on this is not only have they been in the market and made money, but they've been in the market, made money, got their asses kicked, had the money taken away from them.
Right.
And then they recovered from that. So now, as an investor looking at this, you no longer have a question. What if they walk out there? What if they have some success? And what if they run into an actual roadblock?
A policy change where
they've done it.
Now you've, instead of making a 20% commission, now the affiliate fee goes down to 10 or 5.
Correct.
And these kind of things happen.
Like SEO wipeout, or Facebook drops the hammer.
Yeah, I've been there.
All those kinds of things. So now it's no longer, do I think I have a founder who can get out there and when it gets tough, power through it, and you have to guess whether they can or not? I have a chart that shows you I've done this, right?
Great.
That is amazing.
Jesse, what did you learn during the program? If you look back on the 12 weeks, how have you improved just as a founder in your own estimation? Do you feel more confident? Do you feel smarter? Do you feel more bold? How do you feel as an individual, putting the company aside?
Check. No, all those things. I discovered the power of a CEO coach a few months before we got started with this, and just kind of the combination of actually forcing myself to be in front of investors, as well as having an opportunity to kind of talk and walk through it with a CEO coach has been huge for my confidence. First time founder, and there's a lot of shit on your shoulders, and it's really stressful. But being able to talk through that, and then being able forced to stand in front of people and get that out has been really good for me personally. I think for me being good personally, and me sitting at the quote unquote top of the company, it's been good for the whole company as well, because I think that confidence has really started to radiate, and it's been really fun watching the team get more fired up, as the weeks progress and as we start to round the thing out.
As people start to learn about Genius Link and what the opportunity is, what do you think would trigger a Series A with somebody who is, let's call it, a top tier VC firm? Let's call it top 25 firms. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily top 5, right? Because those are very hard to get to. They have a limited amount of investments they're going to make. But if we get to top 25, the best of the best, top 1-2% of VC firms, what do you think it will take?
I think it's going to take more of the same hard work that we've had before. It's right now we're learning how to position and message our product, right? In the early days, it was really easy. It was one problem that we solved. We kind of, continue to build off that. And it got a little bit fragmented. And that was kind of a big challenge that I think we're most of the way working through now, is just how do we message the different value adds to the different personas? I think once we get that, we can really start to crank that sales number up further, because we're building these relationships. I think that those lines are going to connect in hopefully 6, 8, 12 months, and it'll be time to go.
Awesome. Well, listen, continued success. In closing, any advice for people who are thinking about coming to the program? I know you and I met, 2 or 3 times before you came to the program?
Yeah.
Any advice for folks on how to get in? Go ahead. What to do once you're in?
Yeah, just being resilient, right? Yeah. The rejection just makes you stronger. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. You're a founder. You know that it's only going to make you stronger. So just being resilient, making sure that when I reach out to you to have a conversation, or when I follow up, there's value in that. Don't just ping you for the sake of
Explain what that means.
So thank you for the conference. I thought blah 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 was great. I have 3 or 4 new updates I want to share with you and get your feedback on. Something of value, just not, hey, respond to me.
So hey, can we get coffee? Not as effective as, hey, we signed our 7th enterprise client. We've now broken $1 million a year in ARR, annual run rate, annual revenue rate, whatever. And we're really enjoyed coming to your conference, or I enjoyed episode 702 of This Week in Startups, something like that.
And I have a question that I think you're uniquely qualified to help me answer with.
Right. I have an angle here that I think you can uniquely help me. The best times I've gotten jobs, I've said, this job is perfect for me. And they've said, wow, nobody else said that the job description I wrote was perfect. And that's why I brought you in for an interview, right? You've got to, it sounds like an ego thing, but it's not. It's really, you've got to say, there's something unique and special here. And if we don't explore this, we're both going to miss out on an opportunity.
And I'm getting value in the immediate term as well, right? Meeting with you for coffee, we talked about a handful of different things. I got more clarification, and that was 6-8 months ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I was able to use that and push things forward. And then, went to the conference in the fall and again had the opportunity to chat further. So it's add value, right? It comes back. You spout this all the time. If you're putting value into the ecosystem, eventually it's going to come back for you. So,
all right, listen,
thank you.
I'm very happy to be in business with you, Jesse, and very proud of the work you've done with Genius Link. And I hope we have a great outcome, and I hope we raise a nice round. So, really, just been great to work together. So, very happy to be in business with you.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
All right, we'll be
Brian.
back. And our next company is Poppins. You will have 3 minutes on the clock, and then we'll ask you some questions. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, right into the microphone. 3, 2, go.
I'm Dan. This is Alex. We're the founders of Poppins. Poppins is an invitation-based childcare service. In addition to being a founder, I'm actually a father as well. There are 2 little ones that rule my world, and when my son Rory was born, I was responsible for sourcing care for him. My experience went something like this. I tried all the major marketplaces. I post the need for care. I get absolutely pummeled with responses. Nothing's being done to regulate supplier demand. The onus of pouring through profiles and identifying good candidates, arranging times to connect, haggling over price, it's on me, the user. Now, if I get through the process with a few people I like, I've invested a lot of time, but I'm pretty happy. I go ahead and I engage one of them. For the most part, they're great. But the next time I need them, or someone with similar skill set and experience, they're not available. So we set out to fix that at Poppins. Let's take a quick look. So I need care on Monday. I go ahead and I open the Poppins app and put in a booking request, information about my children, date, time, location of the appointment, and I get a booking estimate. Our rates start at $20 per hour, 100% of which goes to our caretakers. We earn revenue in the form of a monthly subscription. We hit submit and our care algorithm goes to work. It's finding the best caretaker in the Poppins Care Network based on my family's specific needs. We're matched with Lily. I have an opportunity to look at Lily's background and experience. Why does she love being a caretaker? I also have the opportunity to look at reviews and ratings left from other members of the Poppins Care Network. Ultimately decide, do I want to accept this caretaker or pass? Lily looks great, so I go ahead and I accept. And just like that, we have care on Monday. Now, Monday when I'm out, I'm receiving updates letting me know how the kids are doing. There's this constant connection with my children. At the end of the appointment, I receive a recap, a timeline of everything that happened while I was gone, a receipt, and I have the opportunity to rate that caretaker. Now, parents love Poppins. We have the best caretakers around, CPR and first aid certified, reference and background check, subject to an in-person interview. They can have a caretaker at their door in a matter of hours. They have the support of our care team 24/7. They're saving money using Poppins as compared to other vetted solutions on the market today. In addition to that, our service is tailored to each family's specific needs. They're covered under an insurance policy in the event anything happens during a booking. Now, caretakers love us because we offer flexible scheduling. We bring jobs directly to them from vetted families. They're covered under our insurance policy as well. They earn 100% of the fees we collect from families. They have the support of our care team, and we offer them free trainings. Now, it's a massive market opportunity. There are millions of families living with little ones in the most populous U.S. cities. We're actually estimating there's $1 billion revenue potential here. And in addition to that, there's a new age of parents coming up, the millennials. They grew up with the internet. Speed, ease, convenience, efficiency, they're all things they put a premium on. They demand an experience like Poppins. Now, we just started working on Poppins full-time as part of the Launch Incubator. We're growing in excess of 10% week over week, and we have our first users on board here in San Francisco. We're raising a seed round right now. We're reimagining childcare. We'd love it if you guys came along. Thanks.
Okay, well done. Big golf clap there, or I should say a small golf clap. So how did you come up with the idea to charge one rate for caregivers, $20, and to charge families a membership fee, I guess like Amazon Prime almost, as opposed to taking a cut of the service provider, the babysitter, caregiver, hourly rate?
Yeah. So with regard to, we looked at the open marketplaces in terms of what caretakers were commanding for wages, and we came up with 20. It's gonna
Here in San Francisco.
Here in San Francisco, so it's gonna fluctuate.
There are some
by
people
geo.
in Middle America going, wait, $20 an hour for caregiver? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But here would be an average salary.
Yeah. So then in terms of the, the business model, we wanted to do something where, it's fair and equitable for all parties, and we're still going to be able to build a massive business. It is like Amazon Prime. If you're a parent, this is your lifeline. You have care whenever you need it for your children for a reasonable price, which is great. And then, we didn't want to when we started this, it was caretakers get 100%. We don't want to take anything off the top. These folks are working hard, and there's tremendous variability in the skill sets and experience from one caretaker to the next, and we want to retain the best. So in order to do that, we give them 100%.
Brian, what are your thoughts on Poppins?
Many thoughts. I would use Zipcar as an analogy because they have a very low, like let's say $6 a month fee. That's your subscription. I don't know what they take from the cars, but it's the availability that I can get that thing all the time. It's fascinating. So I would say the thing that I've seen that's changed the most about them in 12 weeks, which it's a lot, is the founder has so many things that they want to say. They have here are the top 5 things about what we're doing, and early on. So the story changes over time, but it's not like the business changes at all. They just realize what stuff's always coming up in the Q&A afterwards, what I should pull into the presentation to preempt, what everybody's going to need to know.
So there's an objection that keeps coming up.
Right. So
why are you not like care.com, or care.com is so huge? How do you go into this space? And you could actually preempt that.
So I've seen there are some things in this presentation that they weren't preempting in the past that now I know all those judges, those experts, those investors are not going to have that question because you pulled it in and you've answered it really well. I think you could actually, I think early on one of the things they used to go into was that whole invitation only thing, how they vetted everybody, how it was going to be a slow sort of growth to add the right people. They were going to make sure they were all good. That's not in the present. You mentioned it once at the beginning and you don't dive into it. It doesn't spend time on it. The product has always been high design quality. And now I think the pitch and the storytelling matches it. So it's been a really great growth.
How has the reaction changed to the pitch from week 1 to week 12?
It has been, well, you certainly know. We definitely, from a public speaking perspective, and then also just from Brian said, we're highlighting the right things now. It's gone from, a 0 to, in my opinion, a 10. And it's been great experience just getting in front of folks and, really just honing in on the most salient points and really kind of, telling our story.
Before the incubator, how many times had you pitched investors in a setting like this, or in any setting?
We hadn't. I mean, we had one-off meetings with investors, but we never did it in front of like a panel and kind of live Q&A like that. Yeah.
But you had pitched a couple of investors, a handful, or
like a handful.
And then you met. How many times did you pitch, and how many investors did you wind up pitching to through the course of the incubator?
So we pitched, every night at the incubator, and then I'd say we probably had, as a result of the incubator, close to 10 meetings, ongoing conversations right now.
So about 60 pitches?
Yeah, and it was great because, we moved out here from Boston a couple years ago with a startup and, left a lot of our network back behind on the East Coast. So joining the incubator, we were kind of plugged into the launch network, and it's been invaluable. Yeah.
A pop-up network for Poppins.
Right.
All right, listen, it's been incredible to watch you guys really nail it, and the investor interest has been really high, and the interest in the product has been even higher.
Yeah.
I think the idea of, hey, I pay $25 a month, which is essentially an hour of caretaker time, but the caretakers get everything. I don't have to worry about them leaving the network and making an end run is just brilliant because that's what happens in these networks all the time.
Exactly.
Is just like an Uber driver or a Lyft driver might say, like, next time you have an airport call, call me direct so I don't have to cut Uber into it or give a cut to Lyft. It's taken a long time for, people to maybe even the drivers getting used to giving a cut to an Uber or a Lyft. Mm-hmm. And even to this day, I have drivers give me their car and say,
limo
hey.
drivers all the time.
All the time. Just call me. Just call me. Yeah. All right. Listen, continued success. Awesome. And you did a great job. And I'm very happy to be in business with you.
Thank you.
It's great being partners.
Awesome.
All right. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode. I think it's interesting to see some of the companies that are going through the incubator.
Very.
And they all seem to have great prospects. They're all meeting actively with partners and team members and investors. Some of them are raising, some aren't raising. But what do you think we'll see in the coming years from this cohort?
Wow. So they're all further along, right? I had good, I'd say bigger confidence in them than I had in most of the ones I've seen in the past, right? Like I said, they're definitely further along. But in the 12 weeks, my confidence level in all of them went up. There wasn't a single one where I felt like they coasted, right? So they all seem like they're going to do the work. You never know, right? The best idea could go nowhere. And the one that you expected the least from could be the next big thing. So I don't know. I'm glad you have plenty of them to choose from.
Yeah, the birds are leaving the nest, and we don't know. The turtles are leaving the nest, and they're going to make their way to the ocean. But the seagulls are pretty vicious.
They're circling.
They're circling, and some of these turtles are going to get picked off by the seagulls, but some make it to sea and have a long life and grow. And that's just part of the circle of life that we deal with in startups. 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 fail.
Right.
But as we know, if you do one and you work hard, even if you lose investors' money, you can come back again, because the savvy investors understand that in order to have a breakout success, you have to have some outlandish ideas. You have to take risk.
Right.
And it's okay to fail as long as you do it and you put your entire effort in and you take the work seriously. It's okay to fail and then come back with your next idea and learn.
I agree. It's good.
We've seen it over and over again. All right, listen, if you want to come to the Launch Incubator, launchincubator.co, you can see the application deadlines and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not ready for the Launch Incubator, you don't have your startup yet, or you're part of a group of people maybe who hasn't been given as much time by Silicon Valley investors historically, we have something called founder.university that we just started. The .university domain name came out, and I was like, oh, now that there's a domain name,
I should do something.
I should do something with this. So we have founder.university, I kid. And what we're trying to do at Founder University is provide and fix a little bit of the pipeline problem that we see. Not enough African American, Hispanic founders, not enough female founders. And we're trying to just move upstream a little bit and say, hey, maybe we can help solve this problem by providing education. And the speakers we have at the 2-day Founder University program are the same speakers who come to the incubator.
Right.
And then we have the incubator companies who got in and who built their really solid MVPs, most minimum viable product, not most valuable player, but minimum viable product, and have built their prototypes and got their first couple of investors. We have them come and talk about how they went from idea to prototype to getting a little angel investing and getting a little bit of traction. So founder.university is a great way if you're not in the Goldilocks zone of the Launch Incubator. Launch Incubator is looking for a product in market with a little bit of traction, 10 customers paying, or 1,000 customers or 1,000 users using the product not paying. If you don't have the product in market and a little bit of traction, does that mean you can't come to Launch Incubator? Well, it kind of does.
Right.
So then what can we do? Well, we created founder.university. So if you have an idea, if you have a business plan, if you're wondering if this is for you, we have that opportunity now to do the step before, which is learn the same techniques, but just do it in a 2-day period, not over 12 weeks. Because if we have you come and just pitch investors your idea, investors hate that.
No, they definitely hate that. So I was lucky enough to get to host that. You were
right.
You were sick.
I lost my voice in the morning of. Yeah.
It was the week of the launch festival. So I came in, and the only difference really tactically between the Founder University and the Launch Incubator is you just pitch once. So they got up once and they pitched, and I gave them feedback. They got some feedback from around the room.
Yep.
It was basically a mini incubator. It was like 1 week of it. But then, was it 12 speakers, 10, 14 speakers?
Yeah, I think we had 12 speakers.
A ton of information. And I would say out of all the companies, there were probably 10 that pitched, 5 were maybe incubator ready.
Yeah.
And that was kind of shocking. They did a great job vetting these. So
it was great.
Neat founders from all over the place, wacky ideas, boring, normal ideas, right? Like that you expect could work, but really, really cool people. And it was a great 2 days.
And a lot of diversity in the group. So I was really proud of the fact that I think 1/3 were female. We really worked hard. And I think we could have maybe even gotten to 50%. We certainly invited enough to get to 100% female. So we were only as good as the invites, but also we had a lot of diversity from underrepresented minority groups. And here in Silicon Valley, we have an overrepresentation of Indian and Asian founders and an underrepresentation of African American and Hispanic. And we're trying to really work on that and say, hey, maybe we can be part of the solution, right? We can be a contributor to making the industry as diverse and powerful as it should be. Because right now it feels like there's a couple of groups of people maybe who don't have equal access.
Sure.
And we as white men and who grew up in the 80s with the first set of personal computers, we got really easily into this. We were kind of fast-tracked in a way.
Right.
And as I wrote in my book, that you helped me write, Angel, and really appreciate your help on the book. I couldn't have done it without you. we started to think about that. Hey, even though we may have felt like underdogs, outsiders coming into this industry from kids from Brooklyn, we were kids from Brooklyn whose parents were middle class and could buy us $1,000 computer in 1983.
Right.
So as much as we felt like outsiders, we were a lot more insiders than, say, somebody living on a farm or outside of a major city and who was maybe not lower middle class or middle class, but maybe just outright poor with a single parent or something and couldn't afford a computer and didn't have access to a computer. So we're really committed here at Launch to trying to change the ratio a bit and maybe do our part to helping with some of these pipeline problems. They're very important to my team here, Ashley and Jackie and everybody, Luke. We're working really hard on it. So you can help. So if you know somebody who's underrepresented, just send them to founder.university and let's get them to be part of this excitement here in Silicon Valley. And it's a really unique position we're in here. And you're a launch fund venture partner, and you're bringing deal flow in. And on the deal flow side of companies looking to raise money that have products in market, we just don't see enough diversity in that group.
Correct. Yeah, that crowd, that crew, the founders from the Founder University were fantastic.
Yeah,
I just liked them all.
Yeah, there's a lot of hustle in the room.
Right.
We basically, when we looked at it, we said, hey, we want to increase diversity, but we're also looking for people with hustle. Looking for people who are going to make the trip and who, really want to be here. And what do they write in their essay? We asked them to just fill out a little essay of why they want to come.
It was staggering, the people who got up there and the way that they answered the questions in the Q&A after their pitch and the way they did their pitch cold, not 12 weeks of incubator rehearsals. They were, on average, better than the original 7 of us in your first incubator, 2-3 years ago.
Right.
So it's amazing.
All right. Listen, this has been a great episode, an important episode. We'll see you all next time on This Week in Startups. Bye-bye.